Hey guys, Distiller Magic here, and as promised, I said I would make a follow-up video if we got any other interesting details from Toy Fair 2018 or whatever it's called. Totally forgot. We got a whole bunch of Magic the Gathering leaks, but there's one more that I just caught today. So this wasn't even at the Magic booth, and you'll get why in a second. So let's throw up the artwork here. So when I first saw this, I was like, oh, Heroes of Dominaria. That's like going to be the set after Dominaria. Holy crap. And then I thought, well, okay, that makes sense because maybe when they designed Dominaria, it was still like in their heads they were going to do a two-part set. And so they're still in Dominaria and they were supposed to go together, but they inflated both of them to like a 250 card set, split them apart, and moved the mechanics to the first one and then started inventing them for the second one, which seems like an awful lot of work. I feel like they would have just implemented the change later. But then again, they decided to go from an 18-month cycle back to a 24, and then some BFC cards were clearly not supposed to be played with Eldritch Moon. You know, like Reflector Mage. So when they make certain giant play decisions and when they implement them is debatable, but in this case, it is not actually the set after Dominaria. The very next line is take the role of a planeswalker traveling the lands of Dominaria in this all-new board game. Pre-order today. I feel like you can't literally pre-order today. Like that, I didn't even know about this and I'm one of their vendors. Like this is literally the first I've heard about it. If you walk into my shop and say, hey, can you order a copy of this for me? I'll be like, what is that? So I would maybe advise against pre-ordering today unless you can find somebody. I don't know. Maybe it's already launched on some kind of Hasbro board game site. Board games aren't really my thing. My shop doesn't really carry them. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, oh, a Magic the Gathering board game, that's interesting. What a novel, interesting new thing to try. I'm not going to go into the entire history of board games that are Magic related because there's been, I don't know, at least one other one that I know of, or I should say two, probably more. I mean, Magic's been out forever. They've tried everything. There's been like 14 digital video games related to Magic. By the way, that depends how you count it. It's closer to like 7 in reality. But anyway, Explorers of Ixalan. Ever heard of that one? If some of you say no, I don't blame you. It wasn't the widest thing in the world. Some people, when I mentioned it, they still don't know what I'm talking about. But most of the stores in my area did pick up a couple copies. But then again, they'll buy anything because they had like 5 copies of Plane Chase Anthology and nobody bought that. So it's more up to like, did your LGS think that they could sell it? And some of them only do TCGs. They do not sell board games. So it's one of those things where they just made a choice. Are we going to carry it? Are we not? And not everybody said yes. But let me just throw up some artwork from Explorers. It was basically 4 decks, 4 player, up to 4, I should say. You got tiles in the middle, and whenever you pay mana, you can grab a tile, but you have to work your way in or something like that. And the tiles do certain things, or you could like save them for later or whatever. It sounded amazing. I mean, I love Magic formats where you take normal Magic and then just add something completely out of left field to it. So in other words, Plane Chase. I mean, Plane Chase is one of the best formats ever made because it's so random and wacky and just you have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, it's kind of like 4-player casual Commander where people just built like completely funny decks that aren't supposed to be just like unbelievable, like where they're just kind of like troll decks, so they do one thing like a lot and it's just kind of comical. Like my friend has an all snakes deck. I mean, and somebody else I know did an all counterspell deck. Okay, that I don't know if I'd classify as fun, but I like just weirdness, just weird fun who cares games, because as soon as you stop caring about who wins, you actually have fun. I got that in a fortune cookie yesterday. And at the bottom it said, learn Chinese, and it taught me how to say screw netdeckers in Chinese. It was amazing. So anyway, that looked amazing. I mean, not enough that I'd spend that kind of money on it. I think it was like $60 or something. I mean, that's a little high. It's on par with the most expensive board games I've seen, but they tend to fly in closer to like 40. So it's been, I would say, less than a year for sure since Explorers came out. And it must have done really well for them to, like 9 months later or whatever, come out with Heroes of Dominaria, although I have no idea when the release is. It just says summer 2018. I feel like Explorers was fall sometime. I don't know. So, I mean, hey, if it sells, they make more of it. Some people are like, oh, Wizards are so greedy. If a product does well and people want it, you make more of it. Like, that's not even greed. That's like business. That's them actually making intelligent decisions for once. So, yes, another side product, but people like to say, it's another side product that I have to buy. No, the Planeswalker decks are side products that you have to buy because there's unique cards in there, and if you need them, you need them. Yes, I know you can buy singles, but it's all, it's another product and you have to buy it. I mean, somebody has to buy it. Either you buy it from them or they, whatever. This is just a fun whatever blah thing. Now, the thing that I thought was odd is you are actually playing Magic. Like, you're straight up, here's your deck, play Magic. You can also ignore the 4 decks that it comes with and just play the mod, which is the tiles in the center, because it's just pay mana, flip the tile. So it is really quite similar to Plane Chase, and Plane Chase is quite fun. It was very well received by the player base, but it's not like they're holding Plane Chase tournaments at, GPs or something. So it took off, but it's not like, oh, big giant moneymaker. But this one, it just had to have made enough to design another one. And honestly, the amount of design and testing and math and logic that went into Explorers, I think somebody could design it in about a week. So it's not like they invested that much into like a testing team or anything. You just put together some box art, you get the marketing materials together, and you physically print it. I mean, it's not really that hard. And it's not like Hasbro, well, Wizards maybe, but Hasbro no. So it depends on who they really hand it off to. But it's not like Hasbro doesn't know how to make a game and produce it and ship it. Well, a board game specifically. A game, yeah, I would say maybe they don't at this point. I have some evidence that would contradict that. And now I don't have any solid numbers on this, but it seems like board games have been really taken off in like the last 10 years. I mean, Settlers of Catan went huge, even though the company just got bought out by somebody else. There have been like kickstarted games. Some of them were just pure card games. Like I think like Kittens in a Blender and Cards Against Humanity or whatever. I think those were both crowdfunded. But I think there have been like actual board games that actually received like 10 times their funding goal. And people are like, yeah, board games. And you're probably thinking, but it's 2018. Isn't everybody on their smartphones and on their Xboxes and their Peasant Station 4s? No. I think the whole novelty of I can play games on the go on my phone and also make calls with it, and I always have a reason to have it on me so I don't look like a douchebag traveling around on the bus with a Nintendo DS or whatever. I think that kind of wore off, and also mobile games have gone so far down the toilet. They were like, oh, we're going to be the new Steam for mobile, and then they went from that to, oh my god, mobile games are terrible and anybody who plays them is an idiot. Calling them a filthy casual gamer wannabe is like 100% accurate. That's like, I'm a gamer, I play Facebook games. I mean, if you're like 60 and up, great. That's pretty much your whole life at that point, at least from my experience. But people are like, oh, look, another freemium game. I'm sure it won't cost me $200 over the next year. Screw that. You know, they don't even get on that hamster wheel in the first place. It's just psychologically manipulative. It's not fun. It's not just like, I'm going to drop a tenner and play this cool RPG. I mean, that's out there, but it's the minority by far. And that's a shame because I would have appreciated that, especially in the tablet market instead of the phone market, because those are more oriented to gaming in some cases. But I think people are jumping off that, and if you want to be like a non-hardcore, gamer who spends time with friends and plays games, which that's the other thing, can you really do that on mobile? Not necessarily. I mean, Words with Friends is quite literally Words with Friends. Oh, it's quite literally Scrabble with friends. But I mean, actually being there in person and eating just what normal humans would consider a lethal dose of pizza. Hey, I've built up a tolerance, okay? My liver can handle that much pizza. Like, that's a whole thing, Maybe you got music blasting and it's a social thing, And what's the other thing people would do? Back in the day, you get together and play Halo with your friends and probably get drunk as hell. Well, the new Xboxes and PS4s came out, and, all the enhanced editions and crap there are so damn expensive. I mean, a board game is just cheaper. So I think between people really having a bad taste in their mouth over the mobile gaming scene right now, not wanting to drop, $1,000 on a gaming computer or, a lot on some kind of console. I mean, guys, the last console I own is a Nintendo Wii and a PS2. PC Master Race for life. I might even get a tattoo of it. Oh, by the way, if you can guess what tattoo I have, I will send you Nala. Leave a guess down in the comments section. I'm not going to regret asking that at all. So I'm thinking the whole what should we go out and do? People are kind of, not showing up to theaters because they're just so sick of the Netflix experience where you could do whatever you want. You could get up and go cook something. The food doesn't cost $12 and I mean, you could be doing other things. You could be shirtless. It's like nobody goes to theaters anymore. Even staples like paintball, laser tag, can you tell I'm a guy, and whatever women do for fun, they're all falling off in popularity. So you got to go somewhere, you got to do something. And for some reason it was board games. And I think it's because people were going into the hobby shops all of a sudden because Force of Will exploded. Yu-Gi-Oh! I heard had a bit of a surge in popularity. Dragon Ball Super is the newest one, but I can't really attribute that to the last 3 years. And then Magic blew up after Return to Ravnica. They like doubled or tripled their player base allegedly, which I'm still waiting to see proof of that. So I think those people were, walking into the hobby stores and like, cool, I'm here to play Magic. Or, they haven't played in 15 years, now they got back into it or whatever. And then they're like, wow, that's a lot of board games. And they were made recently. Huh. And it's not just, Candyland and Monopoly. Maybe you see other people like playing it in the playroom, which, a lot of people do at every LGS I've ever been to ever. And I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen Settlers of Catan players, but like they get real. I mean, they might as well be playing craps with all the yelling and stuff. Maybe that's just how I play and the groups I've seen, but that ain't a calm game. Oh, and just about any time I've ever played Risk with someone, it almost always turns into the police almost showing up. Like there's almost assault charges. That or like disorderly conduct, okay? That game gets real. I think more people have been killed over games of Monopoly than by alligators. I completely made up that stat, but it's probably true. So, looking back at this, Heroes of Dominaria, is it the right time? Are they going in the wrong direction? Everybody says, oh, paper magic's gonna die because everybody wants everything online. That's not what I've been seeing. I think people are like, I gotta get out of the house. They said that, I think it was singles and couples. It was almost like every age group or something. Or no, it was like 30 on down. They spend more time at home than any time in the last 100 years or since they've been tracking it. Well, I got the food and Netflix and pizza delivery. I mean, what else do I need? But I think people, even me, and I'm antisocial, are like, I gotta get out and do something with some people. Like, this is getting repetitive. Also, personally, I have literally watched all of Netflix. I've seen the whole thing. I have seen Netflix. I watched a documentary about, like, some animal. I don't even freaking know. It was, like, 2 a.m., and I was like, what am I doing with my life? I watched a show about, is Bigfoot an alien? Actually, that was on YouTube, come to think of it. It turns out he's actually probably not. Spoiler alert. But I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, they've got the name, they got the brand recognition, you got the crossover between MTG players and board game players, and that's the thing. That's why I don't think Explorers really worked all that well, because somebody could just be like, oh, I don't play Magic, but oh, here's a board game, cool, and they pick it out. You have to know how to play Magic completely to play the 4 decks, because you're literally playing Magic with the 4 decks. That's why I thought that was the one downfall of the product. But everybody who bought it liked it, but they were all MTG players. So if this does not involve playing MTG, or it's a super, super watered down version, which I thought they had something, it was called like Vanguard or something, and I think it was like a super watered down Magic. I mean, they even made watered down D&D. It was D&D Essentials, and all the hardcore players hated that. But if they did something that just doesn't even resemble Magic at all, maybe it involves cards or like spells or something, but they just dumb it down to the point where you could read the rules for 1 minute and get it, I think that would be better, because then people would be like, okay, I'm familiar with this, the lore is interesting, the game's interesting, maybe I should look into that Magic the Gathering game. And it's kind of like, it's the gateway drug that gets you hooked on Magic, which Magic is then meth in this scenario. And then obviously the gateway drug is cat memes. Everybody knows once you've seen all the good cat memes, you just move straight to meth. So that would be my one piece of advice to improve on Explorers. If they just do like another over-the-top modded version of Magic, I would love that too. I just don't think that's the wisest marketing outreach decision, and also $60 was not a marketing outreach, so maybe that's not what they were doing. Maybe they were just trying to sell it to Magic players. But if you think that people were going to play Magic plus with rules added and use that to teach people how to play Magic, no. I mean, that's pretty much what the Planeswalker decks, the dual decks, and the welcome decks are for, especially the welcome decks. So I would say just make this one straight up a board game, but have it still resemble Magic, kind of like what Puzzle Quest did. It resembled Magic, it still used the cards, but I wouldn't really say it was dumbed down. It was just more approachable with less rules. But then again, the digital part runs the rules for you. But like combat, and they took out a lot of the decisions, but it was still a riot to play. I absolutely love that game. I'm getting sick of saying this. Full disclosure, they did at one point actually sponsor my channel, so this is a totally biased opinion, even though I played the game before they sponsored me and still loved it. Thanks, American FTC, for making me say that. But if they did something like that, but maybe even simpler, where you could only have 3 creatures on the field at a time, which is how Puzzle Quests work, and the combat was automatic, and you just match up with whoever you're against or whatever, that would be pretty sweet. And I think it would mix it up for Magic players so they could have something a little bit different, and then it would make Magic maybe seem approachable, or at least get it on people's radar. I mean, I don't know who plays Settlers of Catan and hasn't heard of Magic the Gathering. So maybe you don't need to like literally introduce them to the game, but I don't know. It just would be an intermediary product, and that just seems smart to me. So we'll see if that's what they do. But like I said, I'd be interested in it if I can just basically play some weird modded version of Magic and use my own decks too, because that sounds like a riot. I mean, I don't like drafting. You can only play so much sealed, and nobody else likes sealed for some reason. Like, sealed, like on the fly constructed 40 card. Cube is cube. I don't personally own a cube because all my cubes just turned into commander decks. But yeah, that would be my advice to Wizards. So hopefully they do that. It's not really advice at this point. It's more of a warning because they've already made the product. So we'll see what they do. But the important question is, have you played Explorers of Ixalan and did you like it? I mean, I am literally yet to find somebody who played it and was like, this is dumb, I don't like this. I mean, maybe like a hardcore, like super pro, no fun allowed, magic is nothing but serious business person would not like it because it's kind of sillier and adds a weird element, but they probably wouldn't like playing Chase either. So let me know if you've played it, if you bought it, and if you think the MSRP should be lower, because I mean, just think if Heroes of Dominaria was like $20, people walk in and be like, wow, a Magic the Gathering game for 20. Damn, that like they'd be looking at its competitors sitting at 40, 45, and they'd pick it up. I mean, and they'd still make money. I mean, like I said, the development costs of Explorers was nothing basically, and then to print it and ship it is not much either. So they could still make a margin on it, just not, oh, here's another profit center. Just get it out there, put it out for cheap, and let people play it just to get Magic on their radar. That would be the smart way to handle this. Oh, and also just make it as different from Explorers as possible, obviously, because people aren't going to buy the same thing twice. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this whole thing, and are you intending to pick it up, or are you going to wait and see what it's like, which actually makes way more sense. Let me know down in the comment section, and most importantly, you guys may or may not know Chris from Legendary Mana. He is awesome. He started an MTG channel like just a short time ago, and he's already almost at 1,000 subs. He's getting like 1,000 views a day. His channel's exploding because he's awesome, okay? And here's why. There can only be one Chris. And you're probably like, but my friend Chris. Shut up about your friend Chris. Nobody was talking about that Chris. What I meant was this particular person is the only person on planet Earth who's like, I've been playing Magic for a while. I'm going to get into the pro scene. As like an amateur, I'm going to go to GPs and I'm going to compete and I'm going to get better and see if I can, get some, what do they call them? Whatever, pro points and do this and maybe qualify for that and just get into it. Get into the competitive play scene. But he's not a pretentious douchebag. He's not a pro wannabe. He's not, let's see, let's list all the pro cliches here. He's not trying to get famous so that he can cheat on his wife or girlfriend like pretty much every pro player ever. He's not gonna play pro Magic for the money necessarily. I mean, who doesn't like money, but still. But he's not gonna play so that he has money to buy drugs like quite a few pro players. He's not doing it just for image because, oh, look at me, I'm so famous, because that's just not him. He's like literally the only person on planet Earth that's like, I'm going to get into pro play just for getting into pro play because it looks interesting and I want to try it. So look at all the douchebags on Twitter spouting off nonsense about how great they are and this sponsorship and that. Oh boy, look at me, I'm flying out here. I got so many points and I'm gold level. Woo. So yeah, if you want to see like a legit, like everyday you and me type of player that's just like, I want to hit the pro scene, and he talks about it all the time, different decks, what's competitive, what's in the meta, what he thinks of it, his impression of the tournaments as like an outsider, as not like, oh, I've been a pro player for 5 years. His channel pretty heavily covers that stuff, and his content is amazing. So go check him out. Link in the description. Also, in the next 2 days, we're trying to get him to 1,000 subs because you guys know, well, actually, why would you guys know? Why did I even say that? On February 20th, YouTube is kicking a whole bunch of small creators in the balls. Like I said in an earlier video, oh, you lose your ad revenue. If you don't qualify, you were probably making under $10 a month. In fact, they said, I think it was 90% of the people who are losing their ability to show ads and monetize their channel were making less than $2.50 a month on their channel. So, like, shut up about it, basically. But given his recent surge in views, we kind of do want to qualify him because he's in this weird in-between tier and all that. So he needs, like, I don't know, 100 more subs or something. Go sub his channel. Like, honestly, even if you don't watch it, just to put him up past 1,000. And here's hoping he has 4,000 hours. I didn't ask because he doesn't know I'm saying this. He's just that awesome. In fact, you already know I'm going to take advantage of the fact that he has no idea I'm making this video. Go to his channel, pick a recent video like one of the last 10 or whatever, and leave a comment saying that your favorite part of his videos or the best part about his channel or whatever is his adorable pet basset hound named Bubbles. Okay, I totally just made that up. I'm fairly certain he doesn't have a basset hound, and if he does, it's probably not named Bubbles. So just like, we need more videos with your cute basset hound Bubbles, or, oh my gosh, this video was so great because you put your basset hound Bubbles in it. He will be so flippin' confused, and nobody link him to this. Let's go have some fun, and I'll see you guys next video.